representatives of the industry and almost every participant from amongst the various stakeholders participated in the meeting. The meeting concluded with the concluding remarks made by the Prime Minister. In a nutshell, the participants, and 27 of them spoke, analyzed the recent global events, their impact on India, and the opportunities inbuilt in the situation for India. Most of the participants felt that we are going through a phase of extreme volatility. In fact, some of them suggested that volatility is the norm at the moment. And therefore, it is going to result in some turmoil in the markets and also on the currency front. And this situation would continue, but as we've seen in the last few months, it will keep evolving. It will stabilize and then some other issues will come up. Under these circumstances, India would be one of the lesser impacted economies world over. The Chief Economic Advisor, Dr. Arun, had made a short presentation at the commencement of the meeting. He's here, he could explain to you at length, but the thrust of the presentation itself was that for more than one reason, the impact of this on Indian economy itself would be far lesser. Particularly because our own fundamentals are reasonably strong, and also it's an opportunity for us, being a net importer of oil, commodities which are amongst the most affected markets globally, to build upon that situation. And therefore, the thrust of most of what the participants suggested was to take steps in the direction of further strengthening the Indian economy. Now, with regard to various steps that they suggested, was to concentrate on the agricultural sector, which will also have a spillover effect on other sectors, because a good agriculture improves the purchasing power of a large number of people. Increased expenditure on irrigation, emphasis on food processing, expediting the entire investment process which has gone into infrastructure creation. Some illustrations were given with regard to further steps to be taken in easing the doing of business in India. Since there were representatives of various sectors, some 3-4 suggestions with regard to these specific sectors were also given as to how you can still take further steps to ease the systems. There were several suggestions with regard to de-stressing the stressed sectors, particularly steel, textile, discoms, tourism, cost of labor and cost of capital, a further emphasis on stalled projects, in cases where there is a clear evidence of dumping, some defensive measures were also suggested by some of the participants. Most participants felt that a large number of taxation issues had been resolved, but the balance of reforms has to be carried on, and they expressed hope that GST, which was held up because of parliamentary obstruction, would move further. Participants also specifically emphasized on two more legislative steps. One relating to the bankruptcy code and the other relating to the applicability of the definition of corruption under the Prevention of Corruption Act, a step which the government has already taken. Even on the bankruptcy code, we informed them that it's in the final stages of its drafting. The Prime Minister concluded the entire discussions by pointing out the various strengths that India has in terms of its human resource, in terms of oil prices, the knowledge society, the size of the domestic market, and that we were not entirely an export-dependent economy. He then laid emphasis on job-creating sectors such as the MSMEs. One of the suggestions made by a participant which the Prime Minister endorsed was also on using Manrega as a possible tool for even skill development promotion. Special emphasis on space and blue economy, the importance of the Mudra Bank in supporting the unorganized sector, and finally, under the circumstances, India to concentrate on low-cost manufacturing, transparency, and governance which will lead to early decisions itself. Now, by and large, a major thrust of the entire discussion really was that since in terms of its economy, India is relatively untouched, or very little touched by these events, except the transient impact on markets, it's an opportunity that India must avail of in terms of further strengthening its own domestic economy, so that the larger benefits of this global events or situation which has been created can come India's way. This was broadly the thrust of the entire discussion itself. I'll request Dr. Subramaniam to briefly explain the presentation that he had made at the meeting. He can share that with
you. Thank you, Honorable Finance Minister. Essentially, the presentation consisted of identifying what were the key events that are contributing to the turmoil and how, in the midst of all these challenges that they pose, no doubt, how, why these also represented potential opportunities for India going forward, and what some of these opportunities might be. And as the Prime Minister also clarified very clearly, that this is not a matter of, one country taking advantage of another country's, performance deteriorating. It's just a matter of seeing both challenges, but especially the opportunities that arise.